Hey, this is Shobit, founder and CEO of Intentional Product Manager. And today we'll be talking about the 5 habits that are costing you millions in your career. Stay tuned for more. Hey, this is Shobit, founder and CEO of Intentional Product Manager, where we help product managers have a career and a life that they can be proud of while every day being happy, excited, and absolutely ecstatic about the impact that they're having on the world. Okay, here's habit number 1 that's costing you millions in your career, and that is focusing on perfection. Focusing on perfection. So what happens when I work with a lot of product managers or even people outside product management is that they believe that things need to be a certain way. Their job needs to be a certain way, their boss needs to be a certain way, their company needs to be a certain way, they need to have certain compensation. Everything must flow perfectly. And what they focus on is on all the areas where things are not perfect, where things are not exactly where they want to be. And look, I'm talking about others, but earlier on in my career, I was the same way, where I was focused on all the areas where things are wrong. Like working in a startup, for example. We don't really have a good vision that is set out for the company. We don't have a great strategy. I don't feel I've had that level of impact that I envisioned I would, in the first 3 months. My one-on-ones with my boss are not perfect. We have too many random discussions. I don't get enough focus time to work. I'm not getting paid enough for sure. I don't know if the company's stock is gonna rise up. All the things that weren't going right. Meanwhile, on the other end, there were other people who did much better than me at that company. And the reason is they focused on all the things that were going right and all the progress they were having. Right? Everything that was working. Just an example, we were actually beating our targets for the quarter and for the year. Customers were delighted. They were paying us tons of money. Um, we were growing the team. The valuation was going up. We had new round of funding. All these things were going right. And what happens is, as I was focusing too much on perfection, my mindset, my psychology started going like this. It started going down. And it was a downward spiral, really, where I kept focusing on things that were not going right, while the other people, their psychology went like this, but also their career went like this. Their promotions went on this. So one of the number one mistakes that people make is they focus on perfection over progress. And that costs them everything in their career. And over the course of a few years, it's a level of compensation difference that's a few $100,000. And over your career, it's just even say $100,000. Add that over your career. That's like if you take a 50-year career, maybe like let's do a 40-year career, maybe 30-year career if you want to retire early. That's $3 million. Not even take into account all the compound interest that's going to have, the cumulative effects, everything. You've already lost out so much. So the focus on perfection over progress is the first thing that dramatically is costing you millions if you have that. Habit number 2 that's costing you millions: solving problems the wrong way. Imagine this. Imagine that you're out in a field, right? In a beautiful field. It has all these flowers. It has, a really great weather, right about 70 degrees. The sun is shining, blue skies, birds chirping. Everything's great. And you have with yourself one of your favorite pet, your dog. Let's name him, I don't know, Jasper. Jasper's the name of the dog. And so you're walking with Jasper. You have a ball, you throw it to Jasper. Jasper runs it, brings it back, and You're just having fun. It's a free afternoon, not much to do. You've already done well, everything's good. And what happens then? Well, Jasper, being Jasper, out in the field, takes a dump. Takes a dump on the ground. Shits on the ground. Okay, what should you do? What you should do is take out whatever things dog owners do. I don't own dogs, I own cats. I'm talking about dogs still because just whatever. Go with me. So, take that plastic bag, scoop it up, put it in, wrap it up, throw it in the trash, and be done with it. Solving problems the right way. What I see most folks do in their careers is when they're faced with a problem, they do something that's analogous to seeing that dump, sitting down next to it, ignoring the dog, ignoring the beautiful environment, ignoring everything that's going on, and instead looking at it, smelling it, focusing on the dump, wondering what's going to happen, wondering how they're going to solve this problem, wondering what it means for them, wondering what it means for their life, wondering if life will ever be the same again, wondering if they are good enough to solve this problem, wondering if they have what it takes, wondering if this problem will continue to happen in their life. I know it might seem crazy, but that's how we treat problems. And solving problems the wrong way is costing you millions in your career. Because there's a right way, and the right way is to not focus on the problem too much. Think about it just enough so that you have the solution, and then you go solve it. But where I see people go wrong in their career is number one, they're focused so much on the problem. They're they're making meaning out of it that's disempowering. They're building stories out of it. It keeps going and on in their brain. And not just that, most problems in life, most of the people that I've started working with, they're solving it the wrong way. As in, they're considering these to be major problems that need so much effort. While 90% of problems in your life, what should happen is you should figure out a solution, take massive action right away, and just go and solve it. And only some other problems do you really need to analyze. And what happens is most people classify most of the problems as something they really need to analyze and really need to think through and really figure out what the solution is, even though the solution might be obvious. Solving problems the wrong way is costing people so millions over their careers because they're so much focused on those problems that they haven't yet solved it, while others have solved it and already moved on further. But that's just not all. That's just not all. There's one more thing that's associated with it, which is because you are so focused on the problems, you lost sight of everything else. You lost sight of this beautiful environment around, the flowers around, all the progress you've made, all the past times where Jasper took a dump on the ground and you were able to just fix it because you're so fixated on the problems. So it is such a big thing that solving problems the wrong way is costing you millions. And I don't want that to happen for you. So that's expensive habit number 2, focusing too much on problems and solving problems the wrong way. Okay, habit number 3 that's costing you millions, which is not picking the career path that's right for you. And by that, I don't mean something as broad as, oh, product management is the right career path. Product management is, a sort of broad area that you've decided to be in, but there are so many paths within that. And so where I see a lot of people go wrong and have these habits that cost them millions is not being able to pick the path that's right for them. And there's 3 things that's really going on that causes the problem. So first of all, most of the times there is a focus that you might have or people might have on what they don't want, right? I don't want to fall behind. I don't want to get outdated. I don't want to feel that I woke up without everything accomplished. These are all the things I don't want. But they don't have clarity on what they truly want. What is their heart desire? What is it that's going to keep them happy and excited? Which means that living and deciding path by fear rather than deciding a path based on what they truly want. Second challenge with career paths is deciding it based on what other people have done. Oh, my sister's son has done this, so I must do this. I must not fall behind. A friend I went to business school with has become VP at Google, and so I must do that. This must happen, so I must do that. I feel my career really took off when I just said, screw all that. I'm going to design the life for me, design the kind of life I want, and then I'll just pick the career path that best suits the life that I want rather than picking a path that somebody else wants and then making my own life around that. We're doing things backward. So don't pick a career path based on others. And the last problem I see, the last sub-habit that's costing people millions is not picking anything in the first place. This myth of option value. That, oh, I want to be a generalist because I want to be able to, in the future, if I want to do X, I'll do X. Otherwise, I'll do Y. I want all these things open to me. We've all heard of option value. What you don't know is option cost. What's that? All these options available to you, what is that costing you? It's costing you millions of dollars because let's just look at it this way. Today, if somebody is looking for a product manager for a product that has AI and machine learning in it, they're going to find it really hard to find this product manager because the number of people who know this field and know product management are very few. So if you have decided and made a decision that you're going to be an AI ML product manager, and that's your core strength and that's what you're going to go deep in, you're probably doing so much better than somebody who's just like a generalist PM. I love all sorts of products. And there's a million ways of you specializing and discovering a niche and going after the career path that you want based on, I don't know, at least 20 different factors. But where a habit that's costing you millions is not picking the path that's right for you. And by the way, not picking a path at all. So don't make this mistake. It's costing you millions, but it's costing you happiness over time. Okay, expensive habit number 4, living a I'll be happy when life. I'll be happy when life. I'll be happy when I get the job. I'll be happy when I get promoted. I'll be happy when this proposal gets accepted. I'll be happy when I have $795,000 in the bank account. I'll be happy when my wife's happy. I'll be happy when my kids are well behaved. I'll be happy when my pet knows how to jump backwards. I'll be happy when I have a new house, a new family, and so on. Does that sound familiar? Most of the time, what's happening is that people are living a life of making an assumption that they'll be happy when certain things happen in their life, when they achieve certain goals. That's what's going to give them happiness. Now, here's the truth. As humans, we have this thing called hedonic adaptation. Hedonic adaptation. And it's one of the things that helps us survive. So what is this thing? It's this mechanism system that we have where if something great happens, you're extremely ecstatic about it for a little while, and then you get back to your norm happiness. And when something really bad happens, you're really sad, and you go back to that same level. Think of it as a thermostat. Like, think of yourself as a thermostat, where you have a set point, And no matter what changes in the external temperature, your circumstances, warm being great, cold being bad, you your thermostat just starts working, and you bring back to your original point of normalcy, no matter whether how great that thing was or how bad it was. So basically, you're screwed. Basically, you're screwed because no matter what happens in your life, you're still going to be as miserable as you were when you started. Except, except if you know that and you work on your happiness first. There are various ways. And one of the things I spend so much time on with my clients is on changing your set level of happiness, satisfaction, excitement about life. And the thing is, when you change that thermostat, your level of happiness changes. But more than that, the other thing that happens is all the things that you were trying to achieve, they become easier. See, none of the things that most people do in their career are physically difficult, right? Writing product specs, staying up a little late when it's, you're trying to release your product, um, influencing others. Physically, those are simple things. What happens is mentally, we get in our way. But when we start with the point of view of, I'm going to be happy irrespective, and we have the right tools to put that into place, everything becomes easier. You are happy, you attract the right things, you get things done easier, and that just reinforces this loop of, yeah, I'm just happy. I'm just excited about life. I love where I am. So the habit that's costing you millions is living a life of, I'll be happy when something happens. That's what's costing you millions. And it's time to give it up and start first by being happy, first by being excited about life, and then going and achieving the things because they'll be so much easier to achieve. Expensive habit number 5, going at it alone. Now, I am sure you're a super capable, very smart human being with a lot of passion in life. And you know you can figure any problem out, except you don't have to. I have a belief that I've built up over time that most problems have already been solved by other people. In fact, all problems have been solved by other people. Anything from how to have a career to be proud of, how do you write a user story, how do you prioritize stories. And the thing is that I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I don't need to go solve it again. I can just see what other people are doing. I can ask someone for the input. Better still, because I ask somebody else from input and also bring my sense of my situation, they're also going to give me a point of view that's different from my own. While if I was trying to solve it all by myself, I was trying to go at it alone, what's going to happen is I'll just confuse myself. I'll just get so caught up in the emotions of what's going on that there's no way that I can really solve the problem to that extent. So with somebody else's help, I can solve problems much faster and go back to living a life where I'm truly excited by it. Right? That's basically it. Now, the problem that I see people run into is that they start with the wrong question. The question they begin with is, how do I solve it? But the question they should begin with, who has already solved it, and how do I make it easier for myself to solve this problem? Because most problems already have well-defined solution systems. So are you going at it alone? Do you have the right mentor to help you? Do you have the right coach to help you? Any problem you're solving, do you have the right system to solve it with? Do you have a set of peers, your board of directors, who's going to pull you up to their level so that you're always performing at that best self and you're driven to a higher level of achievement and identity because you're part of them. That's what that's one of the expensive habits that's costing you millions. And I'll just give an example. When I started Intentional Product Manager, I joined this group. I got coached. I understood systems of building this business from others, and I pay a crazy amount of money to be part of this group where everyone is scaling their business to the next level. They're in a similar field like me, and with their coaching, with that mastermind, I'm just achieving things faster than I ever thought possible. I've had to revise my goals several times over because I've hit the previous goal and I'm going to the next one. The question is, are you going to keep going at it alone in order to, think that you are 100% in charge of everything you need to solve and also save a few bucks? You'll definitely save a few bucks while doing that. Or are you going to invest in both time and money in getting the best help, mentor, coaching, group, community you can so that you get to that place where you're making 10, 20, 100 times the amount you invested? Are you going to go at it alone? Are you actually going to invest? That's a habit that's costing you millions, going at it alone. So now you have a choice. You can absolutely let this go. You've heard everything. You can let this information pass just like any other YouTube does. Or you can make a decision now to change your career and your life. And the way that begins is that you apply to speak with us. So here's the URL, intentionalproductmanager.com/apply. What you do is you find a time that works for you and us, and then also fill out a short form that tells us exactly what is going on in your career so we can be prepared for this call. Now the call is going to be super powerful because what we're going to do is we're going to dig deep into your career, where things are working, where things are not working. Then we're going to talk about what are your goals and what do you want to happen. And then last but not least, we'll figure out a step-by-step plan to help you get there. Now, notice that this is not necessarily for everyone, in the sense that we might not be able to help everyone. And so even if we can't help you, we'll give you some guidance and refer you to other people who might be able to help you. Either way, we're committed to help you get to the outcome and the clarity that you need. So use this link, intentionalproductmanager.com/apply. Do it now before you miss it, or just slots get booked up for weeks, which they often do. And we look forward to speaking with you on the phone.